What would it take to fight Tom Aspinall from the UFC? Like, what does the UFC got to do?
Said something real wild on off the cuff. I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's just not. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to like excite me. It's just the truth. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes.
Jon Jones has finally announced his retirement and possible battle with Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones, on the other hand, stated that while fighting is in his blood, he is not interested in quitting right now after doing it at a high level for so long. He indicated that if the urge returns, he will battle again with his whole heart. But for the time being, he counts himself fortunate to see how people see him and how he makes them feel. He believes his job now is to share that emotion with his audience and be someone they can relate to, claiming he has punched and kicked enough people in his life.
I want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level. And when the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities. But right now, I look around and I realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel. And it's an extraordinary thing. It's a true blessing. Now my job is to serve that, give that to my fans, be reachable, touchable, let them know what I have inside. That's who I am right now. I've punched and kicked enough people.
Jon Jones, on the other hand, thinks Tom Aspinall is an excellent fighter and wishes him the best of luck in his career. He stated that he does not feel Aspinall should fight him, according to Jones. When a person wants something desperately and then obtains it, it can be the worst thing that has ever happened to them.
He's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen.
Furthermore, Jon Jones stated that he loves being the ultimate troll and is now in a position to reap the benefits of his efforts. He remarked that Tom Aspinall does not excite him since he is not in the appropriate situation. Jones stated that even if he defeats Aspinall, fans will instantly move on to the next fighter they trust in. He stated that this pattern has repeated itself throughout his career, citing previous rounds of support for fighters such as Rampage, Rashad, and Lyoto, as well as how he has been through the same tale numerous times.
I love being the ultimate troll. I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to like excite me. It's just the truth. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. I remember Rampage fans years ago, Rashad fans and Lyoto fans. I literally have replayed this story so many times.
Finally, Jon Jones stated that his job in the UFC is to do what is good for the company. He added that he could easily decide not to fight and instead rest, which is exactly what he is doing right now.
My job with the UFC is to do what's right for the company. I could easily just say, I'm not fighting. My job is to chill. And that's what I'm doing.
However, Curtis Blades has stated that if Jon Jones does not plan to fight, he should be stripped of the belt. He praised Jones as a legend and one of the best, but questioned why he is holding the belt and slowing down the division if he will not be active. Blades thinks Jones appreciates having his name mentioned, but he feels the matter has carried on for far too long since Jones' last fight with Stipe Miocic.
He doesn't fight, like I said a month ago, I would like one to be stripped. Like, we all get it. He's a GOAT. He's great. But if you're not going to be active, what are you doing holding the belt? What are you doing holding up the division? I get what he's doing. He enjoys this. He enjoys his name being talked about. Now I'm over it already. It's been I don't even know how long it's been since he beat Stipe, but it's been long enough. I think it should be.
Blades also expressed his thoughts on how fans view Jones. He stated that casual fans would always be eager to see Jon Jones, even if he is 50 years old, just because of the name, but real fans, according to Blades, will notice that with each year Jones waits, he becomes slower and loses some enthusiasm. He stated that the enthusiasm is kept primarily by casual fans, rather than those who follow the sport seriously.
A lot of the fans are casuals. They don't care. He could be 50 years old. They hear Jon Jones, their eyes pop out of their skulls. But if you're a real fan, you understand every year he waits. He gets a little slower, a little weaker, he loses hype if you're a real fan. But for the casuals, they'll be hyped around him for as long as he's alive. He could be ancient. They'll still be hyped up to watch him.
Alexander Volkanovski stated that being a champion involves the responsibility to defend the championship and stay relatively active. He stated that a champion should be ready to fight whoever comes next, especially if there is an interim champion, stating a clear circumstance. While Volkanovski respects Jon Jones' past wins and understands why people admire him, he thinks it is unfair to hold up the division just on the basis of a resume.
Always been, if you're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility. You can't just, I'm going to sit out. I think you need to be reasonably active. I think you need to fight whoever's there. If you've got an interim champ, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw heaps of shade, but I mean, look, I know he's proved himself. Everyone's like, oh, look what he's done. It's fine. It's like, yeah, no, not really. Don't hold up division just because, I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You're considered the greatest of all time. We get that. So if you don't want to fight, just
Chael Sonnen revealed that Daniel Cormier thinks that if Jon Jones departs now, without fighting Tom Aspinall, it should be referred to as quitting, not retirement. Sonnen questioned whether skipping the Aspinall fight would harm Jones' legacy, and cast doubt on everything he has accomplished. However, he also pointed out that if Aspinall faces Cyril Gane in a rematch and wins in more time than Jones took to defeat Gane, Jones may still secure his legacy without ever stepping back into the cage.
Cormier comes out that if Jon Jones leaves right now, he does not retire, he quits. If Jon Jones does not make that walk against Aspinall, does it call into question Jon's career and everything that he's achieved? Because the one great out that Jon has, if this little game of chicken plays out and he doesn't compete with Aspinall, yes, the media is going to be terrible, and yes, they're going to bury him. And this little thing called legacy is not going to go in your direction unless Tom and Cyril see round 2. If Aspinall and Cyril fight and Aspinall beats him, but it's in the second round, Jon only needed a couple of minutes and never even got punched in the face. Tom Aspinall is going to have to beat 4 minutes and 31 seconds. And if he doesn't, Jon Jones, without lifting a finger, is going to get that legacy and get that reputation.
However, Daniel Cormier expressed his strong thoughts on the topic, stating that becoming a champion involves facing top challengers such as Tom Aspinall. He felt Jon Jones lacked the bold mindset that had made him great in the past. Cormier likened it to his own career, saying he would never have postponed such a crucial fight. He thinks that great fighters are motivated by the prospect of facing danger, and Jones' choice to dodge the challenge feels wrong.
Not everybody gets to retire. Jon Jones will get to retire from fighting. But if he doesn't fight this guy, then that's just him quitting. There's one real fight for him, and he's not so old and washed up that he can't take it. So that's how I feel about that. We fought them all. I can tell you guys on good authority, if I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought. 1,000%. The mindset that I carried through my fight career, knowing how dangerous, it would have been nothing but excitement to see someone standing across the octagon that could potentially beat me or knock my ass out. That would have made me train harder, smarter, and be more prepared than I ever could have been. That's what that would have done to me. What it's doing to Jon Jones is very disturbing, and it's very hard for me to understand, because in my mind, this guy's a fighter, because I've seen him do it time and time again. I don't know. It's very, very, it's a very weird situation going on with this show.
Cormier further said that the delay is causing confusion among fans and the division, even though Jones has achieved a lot in his career. Cormier claimed that avoiding this fight does not reflect the deeds of a true champion, and that Jones should unify the titles and prove himself once more. Beating Aspinall would put an end to any doubts, but the current approach contradicts what fans expect from someone with Jones' reputation.
The right thing is to go fight this kid. And if you beat him, which is a real thing and a real likely scenario, you can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions and tell them about it. Nothing feels better to a guy like Jon Jones to be able to beat the guy that you thought was going to get him and then him going, what did I say to you? It's sweeter than any title or anything else you can give this man. And he's got to be willing to take that chance to go and fight this dude. Hey, could Tom Aspinall put him out? Absolutely. Tom Aspinall could put him out. He could shut his lights out. Because guess what? You can hit Jon Jones. He can be hit. But he's tough. And he has a great chin. He can be hit though. And if he gets hit by that dude, a big guy like that who's fast, Tom could put him out right away. That's a real possibility. But there's also a possibility that Jones takes him deep into a fight that he's never, in a place where he's never been before, where Jones has lived. Jones has lived in those places, and he could drown Tom Aspinall. But we'll never know if this dude don't just fight or quit. Or quit. That's the truth.
Gable Stevenson stated that only Jon Jones knows whether he is done or wants to return. He stated that Jon will make his own judgments and will give his all no matter what he picks. When asked if Jones should fight Francis Ngannou or Tom Aspinall next, Gable stated it's best to let Jon make the choice. He also made it clear that Jon is not avoiding anyone and will take the next move when the time is perfect.
The last one as well, obviously we talked about Jon being in the gym and everything. Is he done? Is he finished or is he going to do one more?
I'm not sure. That might be a question you have to ask Jon.
I did. Well, you know what? You know how he is. But if you had the book, would you rather Francis or Tom for him?
I would rather have Jon do what Jon wants to do.
Right.
And if that's Tom, and it's Tom. If it's Francis, then it's Francis. If it's me, then it's me.
Yeah.
But,
and it's definitely, he's not ducking, right?
No, he's not ducking. But whatever Jon wants to do, he will do, and he'll do it the best of his ability.
Francis Ngannou discussed how negotiations in MMA can often be deceptive, with people claiming a fighter is terrified when the truth is usually about business. He emphasized that Jon Jones is in a stronger situation, as Tom Aspinall is the one who actually requires the battle. For Jones, the biggest advantage would be financial gain, whilst for Aspinall, winning would help him secure his place in the division. And Ngannou stated that the battle will be decided by what each side stands to gain.
They use that in the negotiation to say, oh no, he doesn't want to fight this guy, he's scared, and then that's how the machine works. And he's in the position to claim what he wants. As he said, Aspinall need that fight, I don't need it. And when you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, which is someone coming and trying to cement his way in the division, that will be it.
Rampage. According to Jackson, Jon Jones looks to be more worried with his legacy and generating a lot of money than fighting. He explained that while he understood Jones' desire for high paydays, things were different in his day when boxers didn't care about rankings or reputation and would fight anyone without hesitation. Rampage thinks that modern fighters act more like athletes than warriors. He stated that Jones is likely to retire unless Dana White gives him a large sum, such as $35 million, to face Tom Aspinall, and he doubts the fight would take place.
Hey Rampage, how do you feel about Jon not defending his belt? Why is he so entitled?
I don't give a about Jon. No, but he's more worried about his legacy than just being a fighter. And that motherfucker holding out for a whole lot of money. I can't blame him for that part, holding out for a whole lot of money, but you know what I'm saying? Back in my day in fight, we didn't give a fuck about no legacy, like what ranking and shit you is. We like to fight. We love to fight. These new age fighters, they're athletes. They're not, a lot of them not fighters and hard, you know what I'm saying? You know, we fight and we never turn down a fight. We didn't hold out like that. So that's a whole nother shit.
So you know Jones Aspinall doesn't happen.
I think Jon Jones is going to retire unless Dana ups like $35 million.
Colby Covington attacked Jon Jones for avoiding tough opponents, such as Tom Aspinall, alleging Jones only picks fights where he has a clear advantage. He says Jones avoided facing Francis Ngannou for years and is now continuing the same pattern. by fighting an older, declining Stipe Miocic rather than someone more dangerous. Singh referred to Jones as a coward and a cheat, claiming that this trend shows Jones's avoidance of real competition throughout his career.
Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder, and you know, he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's, you know, the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old, and he was just showing up for a paycheck. You know, that's not the Stipe of old, you know, that was in his prime anymore. So, you know, I don't think anything special with that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Nagano. You know, he ducked Nagano for years, now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special with Jon.
Sneeko and Brendan Schaub, YouTubers, questioned why Jon Jones has not yet fought Tom Aspinall, saying that the age difference between them is too tiny to cite as an excuse. Sneeko pointed out that Jones has no trouble facing older opponents, such as Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, so there's no reason to avoid Aspinall right now. Both agreed that if Jones is afraid to face the best opponent, he should vacate the belt and quit prolonging the division.
Should see Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall. Why is it not happening? All these missed matchups.
Well, Jon Jones recently talking about fighting.
Why is he not fighting Aspinall? Like, that doesn't make sense. I love Jon Jones. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like, he's saying that he's a lot. Oh, that are different generations. Dude, you're 37, he's 32. He fought DC when he was like early 20s. DC was almost 40. Jon Jones fought Stipe. Stipe was like 42 years old. Jon Jones was 36. This is a matchup that should happen. Tom Aspinall's the #1 challenger. Jon Jones is still carrying the belt with the challenger waiting right now, and for no reason they're not fighting. We need to see more of these fights instead of seeing people like sit on the belt forever, holding up the division.
It was like the person that was sort of, yo, I want to fight you for the longest, and he's like, I don't need to fight you.
So then give up the belt.
I think he said
why he still has the belt.
I think he tweeted recently, like, I don't give a, he'll strip me. Like, I don't think he cares.
My point is they should be forced to fight the top contenders or just get rid of your belt. Don't hold everybody else up in the division.
I see what you're saying.
Aspinall's waiting. There's no reason why, like, just because he doesn't feel like fighting the top contender, then you're not the real champ.
Robert Whitaker voiced his dissatisfaction with the prolonged delay in the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight, claiming he has become tired of the constant media coverage and questions about it. What was once a thrilling fight has become unpleasant for him, particularly given the incessant hype on social media and in interviews.
Honestly, who cares now?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, I'm done. I'm done with waiting. It's like, yeah, it's like Elder Scrolls 6, dude. It's just like, you know what I mean? Just, you gotta have to play something else, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm done. And honestly, everyone nagging him and poking at him and trying to get clips and stuff is worse for me. Like, they're like, yeah, it's way worse for me. It's just, I'm done with that too.
Whitaker also questioned how Jones can keep the belt without protecting it. Although he initially backed Jones' freedom to pick his own route, he now thinks the situation has gotten too far, especially since Aspinall has been sidelined for nearly a year despite being a strong contender. His views mirror the growing anxiety in the MMA community about the lack of progress in the heavyweight category.
I don't know how Jones still holds the title, honestly. Like, I know I've mentioned when we first started speaking about this many moons ago, how I was like, no one's stripping Jones, you can't do that to him. But mate, come on, you're taking you're taking I was like,
yeah.
But let alone just, I don't know, how long's it been since Tom's fought last?
Man, almost a year. Almost a year. It's actually insane.
John Anik reported that the UFC may be arranging a December fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall in Las Vegas, but stressed that this was not official information. He stated that the battle would mean more if both entered as champions, but this is unlikely given the prospect of Jones being stripped for an activity or refusing to compete. Anik noted that the UFC is now faced with a difficult option between keeping the championship structure and focusing on the commercial appeal of a super fight, and their next action will determine whether this is a historic legacy bout or simply a huge title defense.
Does Aspinall and Jones happen in 2025? What's your gut tell you?
Yeah, I think we see it December 2025. T-Mobile Arena, Dateline, Las Vegas.
Not New York. Why not New York?
Well, Jon Jones fought and won at Madison Square Garden in New York last November. I'm a Boston guy. Place dump. No, I mean, He checked that box. I'm not sure what the taxes are, but why does John Jones need to fight at Madison Square Garden? Why not fight at T-Mobile Arena in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada? You guys live there. No? I don't know.
Georgia's St. Pierre praised John Jones as possibly the most dominant fighter in MMA history, stating that if the sport needed one guy to represent it in a one-on-one match, Jones would be his choice, while fully acknowledging Jones' brilliance. St. Pierre further stated that no athlete can prevent the natural decline that happens with aging.
John Jones, you know, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. You know, talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be John Jones. You know, it's hard to deny it.
Paddy Pimblett called the potential fight between John Jones and Tom Aspinall a must-see event, although he backed Aspinall and wished him victory. He also lauded Jones for his great fighting IQ and clever tactics. Pimblett thinks it is tough to wager against someone with Jones' expertise and keen tactics, making the matchup even more fascinating.
The Aspinall-Jones fights happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against John Jones. The one thing I do think John Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against John Jones. It's just something I couldn't.
That ends today's video. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on their fight? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so leave them in the comments box. And be sure to subscribe and like if you liked the video. Also, check out our other videos, which are currently presented on the screen.